Hey everybody, it's Paul Colligan from Make It Happen Monday. You've heard the term. You might not be quite sure what it is. We're going to discuss that today. What in the world is the cloud? You've heard about the cloud. People talk about the cloud, the internet. You know, we've got Google coming out with the Chromium books. We've got all these different cloud-based music services, cloud-based storage. What exactly does the cloud mean? What is the cloud? Where do I buy the cloud? Who owns the cloud? All issues that you need to deal with. And of course, how does that help you get stuff done? Well, the cloud is a term that nobody owns. It's kind of like the internet. No one particular company or organization owns the cloud. The idea of the cloud is external storage somewhere else on the internet that's not necessarily tied to a specific device or tied to a specific box. What does this mean? Well, I might have a hard drive at home that's my backup solution. But the thing about that hard drive at home is that the second that hard drive runs out of space, I'm dead. The second that that hard drive, crashes or something burns or, house has some sort of disaster to it, I'm dead. That's what happens when you have a single device. But if I back up my content to, again, the cloud, and whatever organization is running the cloud service for me is responsible for giving me as much bandwidth as I want, as much space as I want, and does all the backups and all the redundancies in different locations that, in theory, if anything goes wrong, they can fix these things very quickly for me. Amazon is a big player in the cloud. I have a product called S3 that a lot of services come from. Google's playing pretty heavily in the cloud. A lot of other different organizations are there. What does this mean to you? Well, one thing that's simple is, if you look at the purchase of hard drives, you look at the purchase of USB thumb drives and this type of stuff, there's cost associated with that. Most of your cloud services, have some sort of cost associated with them, especially if you use them to any extent. But when you start comparing them to just the good old price of a, hard drive, it starts to come out to be the same. But the other cool thing about the cloud is because it's all accessible over the internet, you're not confined to geographic locations. If I have that hard drive where everything's backed up and it's back home in Portland, when I'm down here in San Diego recording this, it doesn't matter how good of a backup I did or how strong things were, I don't have access to that hard drive. But because the cloud is there and I've got access to the internet down here in San Diego, yes, down here in San Diego they have access to the internet, I'm able to access all of my cloud storage and all my cloud information and grab the content wherever I want. So again, the cloud, nobody owns it. It's not a trademark term or anything like that. It's just this concept for remote internet storages, remote internet services, that kind of thing. The key is, again, not tied to any one device. So, you can, in theory, not have problems with breakdowns, redundancies, and that type of thing. The flip side of this is because there is no specific standards and requirements, there are people who could have cloud services that do crash, that do have problems. You might have heard about the Sony network all entirely in the cloud that was down for about a month because they had some problems. They did not have the redundancies and the things set up. So the cloud can make your life easier because you're not carrying around hard drives, you're not carrying around thumb drives, you've got somebody doing the backup for you, you've got somebody doing the management for you, but just deal with somebody that's doing this intelligently, that has your best interest at hand, and don't worry about spending a couple of bucks because the benefit of being in the cloud is tremendous. 90% of all my files and all my storage are in the cloud somewhere. Some are cloud stuff that we own, backed up. Some are cloud services, stuff like Amazon S3 and again, Google. But boy, it makes my life easy. I can pick up, go anywhere, connect to the internet, and get access to my stuff. And that's very powerful. That's a great way to make things happen on a Monday. Talk to you soon.